Hi lovelies, and welcome to the Witch's Cookery. The heavy grey clouds of February slowly start to break open, gifting us more and more hours of blue sunny skies. The first colourful sprinkles of yellow, purple and white show up in short grass in form of crocuses, daffodils and snowdrops, nodding their heads in the wind. An unmistakable scent of nearing spring lies in the air. And today I would like to share my updated magical morning routine with you, full of tips and tricks on how to glide into springtime, utilizing the seasonal energies, fueling body, mind and soul in a way that is so much needed after a long winter, peppered with enchanting ideas on how to bring more magic and mindfulness into your mundane. I change my routines up with every change of the season. While in winter I'm more focused on comfort and taking it slow, in spring I have motivation to replenish what my body is running low on in nutrition, sunlight and movement. Spring for me is about building energy and focusing on physical health, which of course also hugely influences how we feel mentally. Body and mind are intertwined inseparably. You let one suffer, the other one will take a hit too. You take care of one, the other one will benefit just as well. This morning routine consists of 5 key tasks that I implement each and every day. But as I like to remain spontaneous, mix it up and choose what exactly I do according to my daily mood and needs, they are not rigidly defined. Instead, they are formulated loosely so they can be completed by picking from a variety of activities for each task, depending on what the day asks of me. This leaves plenty of wiggle room for spontaneity, which is especially important since my life not only revolves around my own schedule, but that of my family too. Oftentimes I will do these different key tasks in order displayed in this video, but I might also switch them around if need be. It's all about staying flexible and making life and self-care work for you instead of clinging to a plan that looks great on paper and will forever stay on paper. Let's start the day off with key task number 1, and this is an obvious one that I hope everybody here does too. If you don't, you're seriously depriving yourself of some good energy for the day. Hydrate. While you sleep, your body naturally dehydrates, and we need water to function. It makes us feel alert, healthy, prevents fatigue and headaches, and keeps us pretty. As a grown adult, you should try and drink roughly 3 to 4 liters a day. Coffee and alcohol and the likes, of course, doesn't count as it dehydrates. If you do sports or sweat a lot, of course you need to adjust that amount upwards. Next to chugging a big glass of water, I also need a bit of warmth and liquid motivation to get my day going. While I'm usually a big coffee lover around this time of year, I try to stay away from caffeine as much as possible. The reason herefore is the effects of spring fatigue. You might know this phenomenon where you suddenly feel quite exhausted and have trouble getting out of bed when the brighter weather first starts. The reason herefore is that the body's reserve of the happiness hormone, serotonin, whose production depends on daylight, becomes exhausted over the winter, making it especially easy for the sleep hormone melatonin to have its effect. When the days become longer in springtime, the body readjusts its hormone levels and more endorphin, testosterone and estrogen are released. This changeover puts a heavy strain on the body, which responds with a feeling of tiredness. And adding coffee in the mix can really mess with my energy levels, pushing me for a short period of time and then leaving me depleted again. So instead I have something that is known to energize, and Greenwich tidbit here, lifts your mood. I call it my pot of sunshine, especially great for when the sky is still a bit grey. This is something my grandma always used to make. A simple lemon balm infusion paired with freshly squeezed lemon and a bit of honey if you like. Might also throw in a bit of ginger. Looks lovely, tastes lovely. My personal tip to make this part of your routine more magical: while preparing your beverage of choice, take a minute to just stand still, close your eyes and feel out what your body feels like and what energy it might need for the day. Then visualize stirring exactly this energy from the universe into your beverage so it can fuel your body with it while you sip it. Since the sun is coming up earlier and earlier, I make sure to utilize this to my body's and mind's benefit. It makes such a difference if you're spending the first 30 minutes of your day in natural light. Morning sunlight helps regulate your circadian clock, the body's mechanism for anticipating when to wake up and to go to sleep. And it manages other biological processes like hunger and body temperature. And since it facilitates the release of dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, all molecules associated with motivation, attention and drive, and optimal amounts of cortisol, it maximizes your alertness and focus for work or other activities. And by the way, it doesn't matter if it's overcast or not, light is light. Even though golden morning sunlight does hold a very special kind of happy magic. Especially if you're paired with some fresh air and possibly a few steps, you really get your body energized naturally for the day. How one accomplishes that is again up to personal preference. It could be walking the kids to kindergarten or yourself to work, taking the dog for a walk or doing a run with a nice audiobook. My personal favorites are practicing some yoga down by the river where my back once again reminds me of my age, or doing an outdoor chore like cleaning out a chicken coop, painting my beehives, getting my garden ready for life in spring, setting up the hammock, fencing my plants off against the tiny raptors, planting some bulbs and flowers. Nothing gets you more grounded than digging in some dirt first thing in the morning. Or if I want to have more of a gentle, slow morning, I will journal by an open window or take a coloring book out on the balcony to complete the next key task on my list. Because being a little witchy poo, I also need some time for my magical self-care in the morning. When I speak of self-care, I always mean this in a threefold way: physically, mentally and spiritually. We are holistic beings that have needs and wants in all of these three areas and will feel a decline in levels of contentment and happiness if we neglect one or more of these areas for too long. So for my spiritual or magical me well-being, if you like, I like to focus on personal growth and habits that facilitate this, on my connection with the natural world or my role in the world and my life. Depending on what spirituality means to you, this could look very different though. Prayer, connection with a higher purpose, ritual or spell work or whatever else. I call this my magic time because that is when the mind magic happens that will determine my actions, mood and motivation for the entire day. I have an array of different ways to work on this task. It might be something as simple as thinking what energy I want to call in for the day and speaking it out loud, or setting an intention. It could be reading tarot or oracle cards for some reflection on the day ahead. It might be manifestation or gratitude journaling, a spell candle lit during the duration of a meditation, or some quick kitchen witchery with a word of courage stirred into a tea along some spices and cream. In the early springtime, I often opt for a 5-minute meditation while I soak in some of this fresh, cool morning sun shining through the misty air. My all-time personal favorite app for morning magic time is of course Aura, which I have introduced to you before. It's really an all-in-one app for everything around well-being, health, sleep, motivation, manifestation and spirituality. It gets to know you and your preferences and will provide you with fresh, fitting content every day. So you just have to open it and basically are already presented with a suggestion of prompts for the day. You then simply pick what it is that your body, mind or soul need in this very moment to help you navigate through emotions, thoughts, worries, struggles, desires, habits or physical sensations. On there you find guided meditations, sleep stories, life coaching, CBT, breathwork, soundscapes, affirmation and much more, created by therapists and expert coaches around the world. Aura has really helped me personally with setting intentions in the morning and with establishing new healthy habits. If you'd like to give it a try, check out the link in the description box underneath the video. The first 500 people get a free trial and exclusive 25% off. The early bird catches the worm. And now, my lovelies, it is time for breakfast. When we exit winter, our bodies might have an extra big need for some TLC. If you're anything like me, you might also go heavier on the carbs, fats and sugars in winter, eating more comfort food, cookies and hot chocolate. And while that definitely helps us feel our wintering bare self, when we get out of this mode, we probably need a bit of a different approach. Remember when we talked about the hormone adjustment that happens between winter and spring, triggered by the change in light? Well, this also has an effect of what our body needs to feel good and produce all the right hormones. And that means giving it plenty of vitamins and proteins. At my table, we try and eat as colorful as possible, and that is especially true in spring. Much to the dismay of the crotch goblins, food colorants don't count. But my son got really into eating what he calls his colorful garden, which is basically a plate filled with different fruits and veggies cut up. The general advice is to eat 3 servings of veggies and 2 servings of fruit every day, so I see that I get already 5 small servings of these into everyone in our family first thing in the morning. And a food philosophy I have adopted for myself is don't limit but add, meaning if you fix yourself a plate of something, add whatever is missing to achieve a good balance between veggies and fruit, healthy fats, carbs and a source of protein, courtesy of our chicken flock. And doesn't a colorful plate like this make you immediately happy? Doesn't lay too heavy in the stomach either, so you don't feel tired but energized after eating it. While I enjoy my breakfast, I usually sit in a nice, quiet spot and write my to-do list for the day. I do believe that a day well planned is a day half accomplished. I use multiple different systems to write my to-do list, and which I will use depends sometimes on the work week ahead, my mood, or whatever makes most sense. But an all-time favorite is definitely using the Eisenhower matrix. With this to-do list system, you have 4 quarters in which you will divide your tasks into. Quarter 1 is for tasks that are important and urgent, so they need to be completed ASAP. Quarter 2 is for tasks that are important but not urgent, so I will find them a time slot in my calendar. Quarter 3 is for tasks that are not important but urgent, and these are usually tasks I delegate to, for example, my husband. Think of setting out the bins for trash pickup or making a doctor's appointments for the kids. Quarter 4 is for tasks that are neither important nor urgent, so they either float around in there until they kind of dissolve themselves into the ether, or I do them when I have a pocket of time. The Eisenhower matrix is a great tool that helps you prioritize tasks, which in turn helps you not to overschedule and overcommit, both of which can sometimes be an issue for me because I just have too many passions and ideas, it seems. Additionally, I am using timestamps for my tasks, so I know by what time I need to be done to fit everything into my workday. This reduces the danger of procrastination. If I need a little boost of success, I will add little everyday tasks like doing the laundry to it too, giving myself a good feeling when I check them off, but most of the times I don't do that and stick to the main tasks so the list stays clean and short. The next day I then can take this list again, see what I have not gotten to, and sort it new in that day's boxes and add whatever else needs to be done. And this is where my morning routine ends and I start into my workday refreshed, fueled up, cared for, and feeling like I'm well prepared and equipped for everything life throws my way that day. I would love to know what you do on a daily basis to prepare for spring or to make your morning magical. Leave a comment if you like, and I shall see you very soon.